The Lazy Peon. What's up guys, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. Today we're going to look at 5 ways you can make gold in Warlords of Draenor. Just bear in mind this isn't going to be one of those videos claiming you can make thousands of gold in minutes. Most of those videos are bullshit, or exploit some kind of bug. The methods I'm going to show you today are realistic and long-term ways you can make gold this expansion. So let's get started. Number 1. Soloing old raids. With the level cap being raised to 100, many of the old raids are now soloable. Pretty much everything up to Cataclysm can be cleared solo. This is a quick way to make a few thousand gold as you can vendor the loot dropped by bosses. You can also farm cloth, which seems to hold its value really well each expansion, as it's used to make bags and other profession materials. The downside to this method is that these raids are on a weekly lockout, so you can't just chain run them over and over. The upside to this method though is you'll be able to get some really nice transmog sets over time, and it's less boring than some other gold making methods. Just as a final note, some of the bosses in these Cataclysm raids do have mechanics that will kill you, even at level 100, so I'd advise you look up some solo guides on YouTube for specific bosses you're having trouble with. A YouTuber called Heal vs Babyface has a good series called Raid Boss 101. This could help you with any bosses you're struggling with. Number 2. Selling BOE crafted epics. One way I've made a decent amount of money so far in Warlords of Draenor is selling those bind on equipped crafted epics. They can be made without any requirements other than a profession building in your garrison. All you need to do is either buy or gather the appropriate crafting material, put it in your profession building as a work order, and collect the burnished leather, true steel ingot or hexweave cloth needed to create your item. For this method, bear in mind you'll make money over the course of a week or two, but there's little to no effort involved other than putting in the work order and collecting resources. If you have more than one character with a garrison, you can do the same thing on them, essentially doubling or tripling the amount of money you can make from this. I've made around 30,000 gold doing this so far, and it feels like I didn't even have to work for it, which is always good. This method may become less effective as the expansion goes on, as the items will devalue. So be sure to check the auction house for the prices of the materials against the selling price of the items, just to make sure it's a good investment. Upgrading the crafted item using Apexis crystals will increase its value, however it takes a lot of crystals to do this and I'm not sure if it's worth it. Number 3. Farming crafting materials. Now this is a pretty standard method of gold making for every expansion, but farming materials used in professions is a good idea simply because people will always be buying them to level professions and craft things. Due to there being a gold mine and a herb garden in your garrison, I wouldn't recommend mining or herbalism farming because everyone has access to those materials, and those professions have become greatly devalued as a result of this. Instead, I'd recommend looking up what profession materials are selling best on your server, and aim to hit that market. From what I've heard so far, cooking and fishing ingredients seem to be fetching a good price at the start of this expansion, so it'd maybe be a good idea looking at those if you really want to farm. Number 4. Selling Savage Bloods. Now this is a pretty good way of making gold at the moment, as Savage Bloods are used in making all crafted armour and weapons, and they're also fetching over 1,000 gold each. There's 2 ways of getting Savage Bloods. The easiest and quickest way is to upgrade the barn building to level 3, capture elite beasts and put in work orders from which you'll receive Savage Bloods. The other way is to grind primal spirits, which generally drop from the same mobs you'll fight in your garrison dailies, or from your gathering professions. Even if you don't have herbalism or mining as professions, you can still get primal spirits from mining your garrison ore and picking your garrison herbs, so I'd recommend to just keep doing that every day and you'll quickly have enough primal spirits to buy a savage blood from the NPC in your garrison, which you can then sell on the auction house. This is another good passive way of earning gold without taking up too much time and going out of your way to farm. Number 5. Playing the auction house. Now this is the most effective way to make gold in WoW if you learn how to do it properly. I'd recommend getting the add-ons Auctionator and Postal to help you for this one. To play the auction house, you basically buy items that are cheaper than usual and sell them on for a higher price. When buying items to resell, it's best to go for profession materials as they're high in demand and easy to make money on. You can also buy out several people's auctions to raise the price and list yours as the cheapest. The more auctions you buy out, however, the higher the risk you'll have of being undercut, so it's important to learn when to stop. Playing the auction house is something I used to do a few years ago on my level 40 hunter, as an experiment to see how much gold I could make from nothing but the auction house and gathering professions. I made around 20,000 gold back then and stopped because I got bored. For those of you that are serious about making a fuck ton of gold in WoW, I'm talking in the hundreds of thousands here, the richest players seem to use an add-on called Tycoon that will scan the auction house and tell you what items you should buy to make the most profit. This add-on unfortunately costs $47 and I don't care about making gold enough to spend that amount of money on an add-on, so it's up to you if you want to go down that route. I'd probably consider buying it if I had the spare money and wanted to buy something expensive in game. So that's pretty much it, guys. There's a lot of passive ways to gain gold in Warlords of Draenor, so I'd probably recommend going down that route rather than stressing yourself out with hardcore farming. For those of you that raid at a decent level, I know you'll need a high gold income to keep up with food, potion, flask, gemming and enchant costs, so you may want to learn how to play the auction house to help you out with that. And for those of you that just have some spare real life money and want to get super rich in WoW, I'd say you should probably take a look at that Tycoon add-on. I'm not going to promote it too much myself as I've never used it. I just know that's what the rich guys generally use to make gold. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope I've helped you out and given you an idea what your options are in terms of gold making. If there's any other gold making methods I've failed to mention in this video, please leave it in a comment below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more variety World of Warcraft content. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.